Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we've got some big updates for the used car market. Before we get into this video though, as always, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. And then if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Let's get into it. So today's data set comes from Cox Automotive, and the first big headline figure is the fact that there are over 2 million vehicles available for sale on the used car market currently. And at the end of February, that represented a 41-day supply. The average asking price of a used car dropped to just over $26,000. So this means that there is not a lot of used car inventory, but prices on the retail side of things are continuing to go down, which is obviously really good for consumers. Now, I've talked about this over the course of several videos, but we've basically had an early tax season, like people filed their taxes early. And on top of filing their taxes early, the average tax refund was significantly lower this year compared to last year. So this is surely going to eventually put some sort of dent in the sales. But so far, sales are currently up year over year with used cars. But again, we've talked about how this is starting to slowly trend downwards, which is not usually what you see. What you usually see is things escalate during the spring selling season. So with things de-escalating, that is definitely concerning for the market. Now, I just quickly want to put into perspective those headline figures that I just went over earlier in the video. So the 2.07 million used cars that are currently available for sale is pretty dang low. So February of 2021 had an inventory level with used cars at 2.6 million. January 2023 had 2.19 million. So you can see that things are trending downwards in terms of the supply. January's day supply number was 49 days. Again, our current day supply number is 41 days. And on top of that, sales are continuing to be robust. Year over year, there's a 4% increase in sales. But again, despite the fact that there are more sales and less inventory, retail prices are still going down. January had an average retail price of $26,300 roughly. And again, February's average retail price was closer to $26,000. And so it's interesting to see that prices are coming down at the same time that demand is increasing. Like, it doesn't make any sense, but that's what's happening. Now, when it comes to individual price segments, just like with new cars, the more affordable cars have a lower day supply compared to the more expensive cars. So if it's a car that's under $10,000, 31-day supply, $10,000 to $15,000, 37-day supply, $15,000 to $20,000, 40-day supply, and then $20,000 to $35,000, 41-day supply, and then above $35,000 with the used car market, 49-day supply, which is almost as high of a day supply as the average brand new car. And so expensive used cars aren't really selling. However, despite what I just said about the retail side of things with the used car market, the wholesale side of things is doing the complete opposite thing because prices are continuing to increase. So over the course of the first half of March, prices have increased by 1.8%. So my favorite little graph that I love showing in all these videos is this little graph here to show used car wholesale prices. So you guys can see we had obviously the huge uptick over the course of COVID, and then we had that decline over the course of the end of last year, and now it's ticking back up again. And it's not quite at the peak, but like things are trending that way where we might see a used car like wholesale prices as high as what they were at the peak, which is pretty dang crazy. But the other figures that are associated with this are insane. So first off, what you typically see historically in March is a 1.2% increase. We've already seen a 1.6% increase. So like we're running pretty strong. The other thing is that cars at auction, at Manheim auction, on average are selling for 100.5% of value. So again, it shows that dealers on average are still paying slightly over value for cars. And there is a sales conversion rate of 68.3%. Now, if you want to put that into historical terms, February last month, rather, not last year, 63.8%, and March 2019, 65.3%. So not only has the sales conversion rate increased month over month, but compared to what it was prior to the pandemic, it's even higher. So like this is showing that cars at auction are really hot because again, those used car inventories are really slim. And so this puts us in a position where a lot of segments are starting to basically have all of those price declines that we saw for the last few months just completely disappear. Like pickup trucks, for example, right now, they're 0.9% in the positive, which makes me feel good because I have a pickup truck. So I'm glad that I'm 0.9% in the positive now with the value. Compact cars are still down 1.6% year over year. Luxury cars are still down 7.7%, midsize cars 1.4%, CUVs and SUVs 2.4%, vans 3.6%, and our total average with the car market currently year over year is only negative 2.1%. So if you bought a used car or wholesale used car, right, in March of 2022, and then you bought one today, you're only buying one for, on average, 2.1% less, which is it's just crazy because, again, prices last year were super high and now they're going back up to be we'll call it mega high at this point. Now, the next thing to note is going to be the days supply number. So far in March, again, I mentioned February, the day supply number is 41 days. In March, it's 38 days. So again, that day supply with retail vehicles is still continuing to decrease. Now, when it comes to auction day supply, it's even slimmer. So the current day supply is about 22 days, whereas in the end of February is 24 days. So the day supply with retail cars is fewer with the used car market, and then also with auction cars as well. And so this is just building up for the perfect storm of basically making it so that these car prices are going to keep going up, at least on the wholesale side of things. Let's talk about what this data actually means. Now, I know that some people might be confused because the data looks like it's contradicting itself. Like, wholesale prices are increasing at the same time that retail prices are decreasing. Like, how does that make logical sense? And actually, it makes quite a bit of sense because on the retail side of things, when we have super high interest rates and when, affordability overall is at an all-time low because used car prices are still extremely high compared to historical levels, this puts us in a position where those retail prices have to come down for customers to actually be willing to purchase cars. And so that side of things, again, makes logical sense. Now, on the wholesale side of things, the reason why prices are going up is because, first off, used car inventory is really slim. And so if dealers want to get access to used cars, especially at auction, they're going to have to pay up for those cars because everyone's trying to buy cars right now. And then when it comes to customers trading in their vehicles, dealers are having to step up a massive amount on trade-in values because, first off, people have a ton of negative equity now because of the price declines. Again, even though these prices are up over the course of the last few months, they're still down a dramatic amount compared to what they're at during the peak. And so there's a lot of negative equity. And I can tell you, as someone who worked at a car dealership, when someone has a lot of negative equity, you almost always have to just pay as much money as possible for their trade-in to just put the car deal together. And so that's what's happening on the trade-in side of things. So basically all you need to know for this video is that dealers are having to pay all the money for these cars. And just because a dealer pays a lot of money for a car doesn't mean that they can sell it for more money, because the retail value is going to be the retail value. Now, you might be wondering, why the heck would dealers buy cars in that case? And it comes down to just wanting to put together car deals because there are other avenues to make money on the car deal, not just on the car itself. And this is something that I'm very familiar with because when I sold cars, we really didn't make a lot of money on the cars themselves. Most of the used cars that I sold had a markup of like $200, $300, and some of them were even like negative. Like, it was crazy. Like, we'd get a used car from auction, and as soon as it was posted online, it was instantly negative $500, sometimes negative $1,000. And so like the dealership was losing money right there on the car, but the dealership was selling that car at the expectation that the person would most likely finance and then they would most likely buy a warranty, because again, it's a pre-owned car. And so it's a lot easier to sell someone a warranty if it's pre-owned. And again, most people that purchase a car are going to finance that purchase, even though we're still seeing a pretty high cash conversion rate, especially on used cars currently. And so I'm kind of interested to see how dealers are navigating that whole situation. But regardless, if a dealership can convince someone to finance the used car and convince them to buy a warranty, then even if they're losing a little bit of money on the car, they can dig themselves out of that hole and make it so that car deal is profitable overall. And so again, the used car market, although it's a lot higher with the prices compared to what I experienced when I was selling cars, it's looking more like the used car market that I was selling cars within, where you have to pay all the money for used car inventory and then you sell it for next to nothing with the expectation that you'll make money in other ways. Let me know what you guys think about this whole used car situation, and I'll see you.